Yo, what is good, YouTube? It is your boy James. I'm coming at y'all with another episode of the Previewing and Predicting series. And today we're talking about the Damian Lillard led Trailblazers. This is a team that had one of the more eventful off seasons. So I want to get into that. One thing I do want to just say real quick is I think more people should respect Dame's loyalty to the Blazers. At the end of the day, for some people it is. I think people underestimate the fact that not everything is about pure winning for these basketball players. I promise you it's not as big as a deal as most people think. Once you're 35 and a bench warmer, maybe. When these guys are like, bro, they don't care about winning as much as you might think. And I respect Dame for just wanting to ride it out. If they can figure it out and he wins a ring, it's gonna be a damn memorable one. So, and also he'll go down as a trailblazer legend. So for me, respect guys that just want to stay put, man. You've got families and where you're living. Some guys just want to get paid, play for the team they got drafted by. They don't care straight up about how many rings they're gonna win. And most players don't think about rings first. I'm just letting you guys know that now. For some reason, there's a notion that everyone's first thought is winning. I promise you it's not, especially when he just got the extension he did. But I just wanted to throw that in the first part of the video. But yeah, the first thing I did want to talk about before we go into lineups is this Shaedon Sharpe pick in the first round of this year's draft. It's been criticized. I criticized it. And to be honest, I'm just not really a fan of it. It's, I guess it's a risk, and maybe that's what Portland had to do. Maybe Portland said, we just got to take the guy with the highest upside because we're far away from where we want to be. Um, but even a guy like Jeremy Sohan, even though the Spurs might have reached, like, he might have fit better there. I really liked Jalen Duran there. I was hoping they would just do that and stop with the whole Nurkic thing. I don't hate Nurkic. It's just I don't think that Nurkic is what this Trailblazers team needs. But for me, I can get behind it because I think out of everyone that was on the board, I sit there and say, does do they have any of them have any higher upside than Shaedon Sharpe? And I don't think so. Now, like I said, you've just got a whole bunch of guards there. I guess I didn't say it, but the thing is how many guards you have there. Um, and for me, it's tough. I'm going to be honest, I don't really hate it. I wish they would have went Duran, but I guess what they were thinking is maybe what can um, what can Duran be at his peak versus what can Shaedon Sharpe be at his peak. Um, so to me, that's interesting, right? I think Shaedon Sharpe you know, has the potential to be something close to special, right? And Duran might just be a good center, which there's nothing wrong with. But um, for me, it's interesting. I think they did go along the route if they wanted the guy with the most upside. Dame vouched for him, so I mean, I don't know what other things Dame has been, um, like what other decisions he's been a part of, but to me, I'm gonna trust Dame. I don't hate it. I know he got hurt in summer league, but I don't hate it. I don't think it's the best fit, but I think it's the highest upside. And maybe for a team that just needs more all around talent, that might not be the worst thing. So I'm not gonna shell on it too hard, but yeah. Now when it comes to the Blazers, they were a team that I was actually gonna make a video talking about what I wanted them to do this offseason. Because I thought their offseason was honestly out of every team's offseason, to me it was the most interesting because they have the star player and they have a whole bunch of money and a high pick. Um, and now a lot of that money did end up going to Ant Simons, and trading for Jeremy Grant. But they were a team that you could have thrown out so many different scenarios of what they could have done and blah 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 blah. Um, and yeah, so I guess we can just get into it. Like I said, I wish I dropped that video because they did do some of the things. They did some. which I'll talk about. But it all starts with Dame, and I do think, although um, some people aren't, I think this is really going to be the year where Dame just really shows that he is him. Because I'm in love with Dame's game, and I'm a Paul George fan, and a lot of Paul George fans can't get around to the Dame respect. But to me, Dame is that guy. And not only is he that guy in the regular season, he's proven it in the playoffs as well. I know they lost the series, but you just look at the series against the Nuggets. I mean, he was phenomenal. Um, so to me, um, he's gonna show you guys, and I'll just say now, I think this is gonna be a team. Although it might not stick, I think this is gonna be a team that comes out hot, kind of like the Wizards were last year. I think this is a team that's gonna come out fire because I think Dame is gonna be pissed off. And I think other guys are gonna, try to earn their minutes. I mean, to me, this is gonna be a team that might start off like 7-3, or 8-2. Although I don't think they'll keep that pace. I think it's a team like the Wizards last year who's gonna start off hot. Um, at the two, Ant Simons. To me, I get that they had to keep him around, but this is where the Shaedon Sharpe pick comes into hand because I actually like Shaedon Sharpe's fit next to Dame. Um, But you're paying Anthony Simons 25 mil, so he has to stay. He has to start, right? And I do think maybe not now because Dame's there, but like I think Anthony Simons has future All Star potential. Like Anthony Simons is really good. He does a lot of things very well. Um, his three ball really came around. I know it might have been a little more um, inefficient, but his three ball last year when Dame left was a really good three ball. So um, yeah, for me, a guy that I really like here is Josh Hart. I don't really hate the starting five. I just get mixed up on who goes where, um, and all those sorts of things. But for me, Josh Hart at the three, I like him there. I think he's 6'5", so with a small backcourt like that, is that really what you want? Probably not. They could also put GP2 there, but I'm gonna have him talk. I'm gonna talk about him for another reason in a sec. Um, but for me, excuse me, I like Josh Hart a lot. I do think he fits at the three well. I would be kind of concerned about that size because you might want a guy like Jeremy Grant at the three and then like Nazir Little at the four just so you can really help out that backcourt. Um, so I do think when it comes down to it, their backcourts are their 1 and 2, right? And I honestly don't hate a Dame Anthony Simons 1-2 combo. I don't. I think it's going to be really well. But you need to do your best possible to make that work defensively. And although I think they took a step in that direction, I don't think it's fixed. But Josh Hart and Jeremy Grant are an okay start. Like I said, for me, honestly, this might sound crazy. If Anthony Simons develops the way I think he can, and maybe one of them takes a step defensively, or they get better wings around him, like I don't think it's crazy to say that could be like a 1-2 punch that goes to like the Western Conference Finals. I really don't, especially with Dame's playoff experience, or potential. I don't know. He's proven in the playoffs, right? He's done it. So for me, like I don't hate the 1-2 combo. I think it's actually a really good one. It's just about one of them needs to become a better defender, and they just need more wings. They did a good job, but they still need more wings. But Jeremy Grant at the four. Excuse me. I really like Jeremy Grant. I just maybe he'll be the two. I kind of worry about first off the contract that they're gonna have to give him, and second off, like is where does he fit with being like a third option, right? Like let's say we want Ant to be that number two, and we want you to be the three. To me, it doesn't seem like that's what Jeremy Grant wants. I think he's cool with kind of just being on bad teams and putting up more numbers, which is fair. But I'm just kind of curious on where does he fit offensively? Is he the one? Is or not the one? Is he like this pure number two option? Is he back to what he was in Denver, where he's just going to kind of score in spurts, and when he gets hot, he's going to score? I don't know. That's my question. But yeah, center, they brought back Nurkic. I don't hate Nurkic. I just don't think it was the right center. Um, I really wish they would have pulled the trade. I know the contract is weird, but like, I feel like if this team is Al Horford, it's a lot different. Or a guy like that. I'm trying to think of guys who just were on the move. Who were some centers that just moved? I don't know. I also wish they would have got a guy like Royce O'Neal that the Nets pulled off. But yeah, Nurk isn't bad, but you gave him a 4-year deal. So it's more money spread out long term. And if I'm the Blazers, I kind of want to keep my money short term. But Nurk is fine. I just don't think he is, what was necessarily needed for what the Blazers needed. So the bench is interesting to me because in some people's world, um, in some people's world, Anthony Simons comes off the bench. I just think the politics of the game, you can't pay a guy um, stupid money to come off the bench. But for me, I've got GP2 handling that role. Um, I really do like the GP2 signing. My questions just were like, did you need a backup center to pay or backup wing to pay more than that? But when it comes to my point with GP2, and this is why I like him a lot, um, I think that if that backcourt is struggling, right, like if Dame and Anthony Simons are getting picked apart, you have the perfect guy that can come in and play off of both of them. And when I was doing the video in the offseason, my guy was Gary Payton or Victor Oladipo. But for me, it's like if this team is getting picked apart, this backcourt, you've got Gary Payton in there that can come in and instantly give the defensive spark and help the other guy out. So if it's Dame coming to the bench, Anthony Simons has some defensive help. If it's coming to the bench, same thing. So um, I really like the Gary Payton signing for that reason. I think he's going to help out that backcourt a lot, coming in spurts. He might even come in and play the three a little bit. So for me, I really like that signing. The question is, should they have went and brought in a center or a wing? I don't know who was available, but like an Otto Porter, let's just say, even though he got out early, let's just say Otto Porter gets signed instead of Gary Payton. But excuse me, Shaedon Sharpe here. The two I already talked about him a little bit. I think this bench unit is actually going to be pretty good. At the three, Nazar Little. For me, it's like, here's my thing. Some people have expected this different leap out of Nazir Little. And for me, I think he kind of got drafted to do one thing, and that's what people should be worried about. It would be nice for him to take a step, absolutely, but I don't think he was drafted to be this perennial superstar, right? He was drafted to play a role, and I think this year he's going to prove that he can do that. He's going to be a guy that some games you're like, wow, he's shooting well. But I think really it's just going to be he's going to play his role. And then at the backup power forward, a guy that was on the Clippers for a little bit, Justice Winslow. I don't hate Justice Winslow. I don't know if he's like you want him as your backup power forward type of guy. But I like Justice Winslow, honestly. He's proved that his low post game and his finishing ability isn't bad. He's a great playmaker. So, I mean, if someone gets hurt or just you want to this might sound weird, but if you want to run your offense through Justice Winslow off the bench, like he can play the one. But I think it's another lengthy defender. He's a great on defense. He's a good mind, right? Like sometimes you also need guys who are just good people. I'm not saying these guys aren't, but good people, good mind. He's very into that. So I really like Justice Winslow actually. It's just, but so far this bench unit isn't bad. And then for their backup center, it looks like it's going to be Drew Eubanks, but I'm not going to let that happen. So I'm just going to put Greg Brown. I think they need if they go sign Hassan Whiteside, it's like a decent center room, right? Like what Hassan Whiteside did for Utah last year. If you can bring it in and have him come do it for you, bro, just do it. Portland, do it. Like damn, bro, it's gonna cost you a minimum. Bring in fucking Hassan Whiteside. If fucking Dwight Howard's out there, go get Dwight. And then I have one more thing I want to talk about before I predict But Coach Chauncey Billups, I really like Chauncey. I think Chauncey's a really good coach. I think he's finally got more defensive personnel around him. Um, so yeah, and then the last thing I want to talk about, and this is a reach, um, but I'm interested in this Draymond Green contract situation, um, because um, he wants, his contract expires at the end of 2022, and he wants this 162. And I don't think he's gonna get it. I really don't. And I think he's done enough that he will. He'll leave. I truly think that. I think he's. At the end of the day, it's a business. At the end of the day, he's done everything he needs to do. If they want to go pay Poole, Wiggins, and keep around Clay and Steph, right? I also wouldn't hate it, right? But Draymond. I should have had this looked up. But in the off season of or in the Olympics, Damian Lillard and Draymond Green did look like they had a decent friendship. Um, and Damian Lillard had showed interest in Draymond wanting to come. Uh, okay, I don't really think that's true. I don't know, but for me, I'm sorry, pulling that didn't get what I wanted. But there was rumors that Dame was trying to pull in Draymond. They had a pretty good friendship um, in the Olympics, and I'm curious on the money situation. Now gets interesting, right? Because you're gonna pay Grant, you paid Simons, you paid Nurk, but like if Draymond hits the market, you might have to, as long as it's keeping these four guys, say, or maybe not even Hart, but as long as you're keeping Nurk, Dame, Simons, um, like, and Jeremy, you can also get rid of Nurk. But like for me, if you can find a way to bring in Draymond Green next offseason, if Dame can get it done, shit, man. Like if let's say they keep Jeremy, keep Simons, you would go to this. Like for me, that's where we get interesting. Like if I were to see a starting lineup of Dame, Simons, Jeremy Grant, Draymond Green, Nurkic, I would get real interested. I'm keeping it a buck, and it would be another year of Simons development. Like that would be interesting. And for me, I would love it. So if he doesn't get that extension, I would say Portland is kind of a team to keep your eye on because they've been in. Dame's wanted him there. They would play very well off of each other. And I think they could pretty much make the money work. Honestly, bro, I think they should keep GP2 no matter what, and I think they should keep these three for it to work. But, bro, if you have to get rid of Nurk, do it. And I think, honestly, your bench, like, these guys would probably stay the same. But, yeah, that's something I'm very interested in. I wish I'd planned that out better than just looking it up and scrolling through an article. But for prediction-wise, I think this team's a little better than people project. I think they're going to be like an 8 seed. Do I think they're the eighth best team in the West? Probably not. But when it comes to the regular season, I don't know. But my prediction, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I do. I don't know who that's going to be over yet. I don't know who they're going to get over. But I really think this team's going to sneak in. And I think they have the potential to win a game or two. Um, for me, it depends on the young guys, but I look and I say, some people say they have two hands in each basket, young guys and Dame. For me, I don't hate it. You've got something with Dame. Now let these young guys build up. Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, Nazir Little, Justice Winslow's pretty young. If Greg Brown does interest them, because I know he got some PD last year. Trenton Watford, I didn't put him in here, but he has looked really good. He was pretty much like the main guy on that summer league team. So yeah, I think this team's going to make the playoffs and win a game. I don't have a reason to say they're better than 7 teams in the West, but I just think Dame's going to get it done. But other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy. This one was a long one, but one of my favorites. So if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. Second channel down below. I need to keep working on that though. And my Twitter's down below. So if you enjoyed, hit a like. I'll see y'all tomorrow.